I got the quarter cut off. This was an all-day job. I don't know how many spot welds I had to undo, and a lot of other problems as we went along, but it's off of the car, and it's on the operating table. So now I've got to send this out to Real Steel Replacements and see if they can't duplicate it. I hope so, because it's too far gone now to turn back. I've got the rockers off of the car on both sides. Waiting on my inner rockers. Got all the braces cleaned up, ready. I've painted my front braces, those that were eat up, and the replacements that I got from California. I painted those with Pour 15. They laying out here in the sun drying, so hopefully they won't rust in my lifetime anyway. While I'm waiting on my inner rockers, I'm going to start patching some places. This is this wheel well on the right hand side of the car. There's a little bad place right there eating through. There's another one right over here. So I'm going to see if I can't make some pieces and repair that. Got a lot of other places. This down here in the front of this wheel well is down in the corner, is going to have to be completely reconstructed. I'd kind of like to have my quarters put on here, or at least temporarily on, so I could make sure my repair piece fits okay. I could go on the other side and make a pattern from the one on the other side, so I may do that also. So a lot of things I can do while I'm waiting on inner rockers. Here's this inner rocker here on the back side behind the door up to the wheel well. The rear wheel well is eat out. I could clean that up and get it ready. So I made me a little patch that'll fit right in there, and I actually cut this off of a Mustang wheel well replacement panel that I had cut pieces off of before, and with a little bit of modification fits right in there. So let me weld that in there. I patched these two places on this wheel well, and now I'm working on a patch over here on this side of the car. I've got this side ready for that inner rocker. All these braces here spot welded to that inner rocker, so I'm waiting on my inner rocker, but I needed to fix something right here. There are four, there's two of them. Here's the other two. That's what the seat bolts to. And they've got these cage nuts. And I broke three of them off here. On these, I broke three of them off. And I use the technique, what you do is you take your MIG welder and you weld a little, keep welding to the top of that bolt where it's broken off till you can get enough up there and get a hold to it with a pair of vice grips. Some people weld a nut to the top of it. And what happens is the heat in the welding process will loosen them up and you can back them right out. But the fourth one over here, it's eat up under this section, and the fourth one it's just not gonna, it's got to be reconstructed. So I've made me a pattern here and I'm going to cut that out, and what I'll do is when I get the metal cut out, I'll weld a nut to the bottom of it. I think this is 1/4 inch. Weld a 1/4 inch nut to the bottom of it, and tack weld this around here, and it ought to be fine again. That'll fix this section. I got this patch in under the seat. There are 4 bolts that hold the seat on, 2 up here, 2 up here. They used caged nuts, those square nuts with the little fingers on them that sit down in an opening. So I was able to get all of those old studs out that had broken off, and these 2 are solid. This one is solid factory, but this corner up here was completely rusted out and unfixable. So what I did was I made me a plate to cover that entire area, and I welded a 5/16 nut to the bottom side of it, and it's in there pretty secure. This metal around it is kind of thin from rust, but I was able to get hold to enough metal. It's in there pretty secure, and so I've got that fixed. Now I'm going to move over to the other side of the car. There's a place on this side that needs to be fixed. This one's going to be kind of tough. Right in this doorpost, right down here. Let's see if I can get a little more light on it here. There's a place eaten through. And what that is, there's a brace behind that where the exterior metal lays right against that brace, and there's rust between them. So I'm going to try to make pieces and cut this rust out. The big problem is that rust is probably all the way up between the 2 panels. I'm going to try to get enough pour 15 back in there to slow it down, but this is just one of those cases where you do the best you can and try your best to keep it from spreading. So I don't know a lot about bending metal and making parts. I'm gonna make pieces. I'm gonna make 2 pieces, rainbow shaped pieces, and put them in there and weld them, and then grind them to shape. I think I can make that work. So I laid a piece of paper on those areas, and by using a pencil and my dirty finger, I rubbed the shape. This is the vertical portion of that door jamb, and this is the horizontal portion. So I'm going to cut these out and make me some templates, and then cut me out some pieces out of this piece of metal here to match it and go from there. When I cut this quarter panel off, I revealed some pretty major rust here. Now this is the what they call the trunk extension portion, and I knew that vertical portion there was rotted out, so that wasn't a surprise to me, and that'll be relatively easy to make a replacement for. So I'll do that. This here around this wheel opening kind of surprised me, but I think I can make a piece to go around there. The rest of it is relatively solid, no holes, so I put pour 15 on that. Covered up a little bit of what I'm going to have to cut out with the pour 15 here, but I can grind that off and so I can weld. But not being a professional at making replacement panels, I just have to do the best I can. I had a Mustang wheel well replacement panel, and I had cut pieces off of it to repair a Mustang I was working on, but I still had the remains, and so I cut a piece off of that that'll go right in here. Only thing is, it's not shaped exactly right, but I've got a stretcher that one of the Harbor Freight reducer stretcher things, and so I think I can shrink that edge, or expand it rather, around there and make that fit. This will have to be a two-piece operation because this will go around this rim. Then I'll have to create another piece that covers all this. I think I can use a hammer and a large piece of steel I've got to shape this in this area here, and then I'll have to weld it along this edge and grind it down, shape it up. So I know that's a hard way to do it. Good metal men would be able to make the whole piece and shape it just perfect, but I can't, so I'll do what I have to do. I've got this piece in, and I've got this piece ready to go in here and fill that up. So I'll get that welded in, and we should have that section repaired. Coat it down good with pour 15, and it'll last as long as I live. I've got this patch welded in, and now I'm going to start on this overhang here. I've made me a pattern. Drew it out here. I'm gonna, rather than to this piece went all the way across here, welded to this brace, come on over here. That's all one piece, but I'm gonna make two pieces, make it easier to deal with. My pattern covers from this brace back to the back, and I'm going to add metal from here forward, maybe about an inch, because I've got to fix this piece. This piece has the rim on it that goes attached to the fender well, but I don't know the shape of this. It was all rotted away, so I've got to wait till I get my quarters in, so I'll be able to make a piece. But I'm going to add about an inch here to my patch, so I'll have something to weld to on the other side when I do this piece. And I've also added about an inch to the bottom, because this piece folds under, and a quarter welds to the bottom of that. And back here, this area here, there's another fold over where the quarter welds to, so I got to add some metal there and be able to fold that over and shape that little curve there, that little curve right there. And so I've made my pattern, and I've got it drawn out here on my metal. So I'm going to cut that out now and go to work on that. Well, I've got the these extensions, the overhang on these extensions all done, or this extension, haven't done the other side. This piece in here, got the hole cut in it for the, there's a rubber plug that goes there, and the reason that has to be there is because there's a piece of trim that comes around here, and there's a bolt that holds it on. You have to be able to get to the back of it, and so that hole is the reason it's there. And of course I've soaked it down real good with Pour 15, and when I get my quarters, I'll be able to finish that little triangle piece right there. In the meantime, my inner rockers came, and so got this all positioned up here and marked. It goes across the bottom here, and you've got all of these braces. There's a bunch of braces that come across that hold the floor that have to, this inner rocker has to be welded to. And I've marked it on the back side to where to drill holes to do my welds. And that has to be there before this outer rocker can go in. It'll go in like this, and be welded to that, and of course all of that's got to be in before the floor pans can be put in. And you may remember that these footrests here were rotted real bad. That's where I cut that one out. Maybe you can see the one on the other side still intact, but Real Steel Replacements up in New Hampshire made me these replacements to go in here, and they'll go in there like that. It'll take a little tweaking, but never used a replacement panel yet that didn't have to be tweaked, so glad to get those. So now I'm going to take this inner rocker off and drill me some holes so I can weld to this frame. Moving right along. The inner rocker is all welded in, attached to those braces that come across, and the outer rocker is all welded in, and the front floor pan on driver's side is all welded in. So some more things that's got to be done. Up in this corner they had a little platform, I'll call it, where the gas pedal mounted on. I'm not sure I will use that particular gas pedal, so I'm not going to work on that until I get the new engine in it and see what kind of throttle mechanism I'm going to run. I may in the end up just closing that up, so I'm not going to do anything with that yet. Otherwise the floor pan is finished. This end right here, this is the platform for the seat, and you can see here this is rusted out real bad, but there's enough good solid metal right along here that I'll be able to I'll have to make a piece to fit in there. and take care of that space. Then of course there's got to be a piece of metal over the top of these where this big hole is in here. Got to have a solid piece of metal all the way back there. But I'm not going to do any of that until I get this footrest in, and then the back floor pan. And after those are in, I'll deal with covering these areas with new metal. Driver's side floor is complete. Back floor pans, footrest that real steel replacements up in New Hampshire built for me. Inner rockers, outer rockers, front floorboard. The only thing left to do is got to do some patching up here and leaving that gas pedal section there until I figure out what kind of gas pedal I'm going to use. A little bit of rust right in that corner there I'm going to have to replace, but I really can't do that until I decide what I'm going to do with that gas pedal area. So one side down, another one to go, trunk floor, rear quarters. Whole lot of work still to be done. Passenger side floor panels are finished, and here on this footrest, I didn't replace the whole footrest. It's pretty solid, except right down that corner I had to put a little patch. And so the floor is finished. This, as I've stated before, this back portion here under the rear back seat was really solid. Don't know why, but no rust back there. What you're seeing all crumble up there is just undercoating that's dried and cracked. But that's all done. So right now I'm waiting on the trunk floor and the trunk braces and the spare tire tub so I can go to work on the trunk.